Okay, so welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 ways that a man deals with his anger in relationships. Okay, enjoy. So, I am going to be talking today about 10 ways that man can deal with his anger in relationship. Now, these probably relate to women as well, but I'm obviously coming from my perspective as a man, what I have found that I have done and what works. So out of these 10, I would say 5.5 work, and you'll find out why only half of it works when I get there. So the first way a man deals with his anger in relationship is he just kind of dumps it on his partner. So it's like, rah, in whatever way that is, words, physical, it's like, that is the first way a man deals with his anger, and I certainly have indulged in that in my lifetime. The second way a man deals with his anger is that he feels angry in relationship, but then he goes out into the outside world and he dumps his anger onto other people. So it could be work colleagues, it could be driving, it could be, maybe it's children. But rather than aiming it at his partner, he aims it at the rest of the world. So that's the second way. And yeah, these first two ways, as you probably know, they don't work as remedies, really. They just create more chaos. The third way that a man deals with his anger, and this is one that I've practiced most of my life, is suppressing. I learned to suppress at a young age. And this is what a lot of men do, is they feel angry, but they're just suppressing it. It's like, no, I'm not meant to feel anger. And they just let it build and build and build and build and build. And what can happen with this, coming from the Chinese medicine point of view, anger sits in the liver. And it's said when we don't allow anger, we don't feel it, then it can become depression. And it can become sickness. Or the other thing of suppressing, eventually it builds and it explodes. So again, that way for me doesn't work, suppressing. The fourth way of dealing with anger is kind of taking it out on an inanimate object. So what I've done in the past is I've gone and punched things. So in like a punch bag, or I have to say, when I was in my 20s, I used to punch just trees and things like that, and walls. I was angry. And some people say, yeah, you need to express it. And while I agree that the first three don't work, the fourth one is certainly a step up. It's better, but I don't feel in my own practice that it's a very good way of dealing with anger for men. Because what we're doing is we're practicing the anger. So we're kind of getting into that punch bag. And I remember Howard Cutler talking about this in the book he wrote with the Dalai Lama, in that somebody who was in his clinic screaming and shouting, getting in touch with their anger, and yet it was like they were practicing it. So after their session, they ended up getting into road rage. And that's what I found in my own life. If I'm practicing my anger, when I'm angry and doing the punch bag, when the anger rises in different situations, I can see myself seeing red. So that's the fourth way. The fifth way I've found is to talk to friends. And especially for men, it's important that we talk to men friends. And why this one, for me, only works half of the time, it depends on the men that you choose to talk to. So, the first group may be down the pub, and they just incite you into more anger. And it's like, they agree with you, or say, yeah, you shouldn't do this. And it's to be really mindful who you share your anger with. The other aspect is if you find some benevolent male friends, like a male men's group, and you can express, this is what I feel. And the men within that group can hold the space and allow you to feel that anger, but then also challenge you about it. So what's that about you? Why have you drawn this to you? What is the deeper cause of this anger? And you can look within rather than keeping on projecting your anger out. So the sixth way of dealing with anger is, I found one which works well, is to create. So I'm feeling anger, and anger is just energy. It's not good or bad, but it's just energy. So if you can create, you can sing, you can dance, it's like you embody it and you move through it. You use that to either get fit, but not in that, but just kind of feeling that energy and flowing. And that's why martial arts can be very powerful. Things like Aikido or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's kind of using this energy, but you're relaxed with it rather than tense. So that is the sixth way. And I have to look back at my list. The next way I've found really works is energy psychology. So I trained in energy psychology almost 20 years ago. So that's things like EFT. So if I'm feeling really angry, I just do some tapping on the meridian points, which are the ends of the acupressure points, which connect to the different organs in the body. And just by tapping, you can go onto YouTube and you can go and learn these things. Just, I feel angry, I feel livid, and breathing. And I've used this over so many years, and I'm feeling angry, and within a few minutes, even shorter than that, the tears come. There's something beneath that anger, and I just let the anger go. So that's the seventh way. The eighth way we can deal with it is through mindfulness. So this is something I've started to do a lot nowadays, is the practices of Thich Nhat Hanh. And what he suggests is like breathing in, we walk, breathe in, I'm feeling anger. Anger has arisen in me. Breathing out, I'm taking good care of this anger. Breathing in, anger has arisen in me. Breathing out, I'm taking good care of this anger. And what he says is, you imagine that your anger is like some potatoes, that it takes about 20 minutes to cook potatoes. And that's the same with your anger. You've got to stay with this for 20 minutes, brother. You've got to stay with this, breathe, and let it transmute, and to see what is beneath that. And what you find is this peace, this energy. And it's really very beautiful. And that can really help to shift and transform the feeling. The next thing, so I think, the ninth way is wisdom. So it's being present. So in relationship, you're feeling this anger. It's like, oh, I'm annoyed, or I'm angry at my wife, my partner. The evolved man, the quantum level man, he moves in through his anger, and he really engages with his woman, feels that, but then it connects into the wisdom, and he quickly moves through his anger and goes, my woman, my wife is really hurting at this moment. And kind of it helps to bring up this compassion. So very quickly he transforms this energy. Wow, this is my stuff. And he uses wisdom to move through it, to feel into his wife, into life. And he transmutes this. And that's really powerful. That's the ninth way. 9. And then the 10th way, the final way, is just communication for me. Is communicating with your wife, your partner. It's a case of, I feel angry, owning it. I feel this. And, this reminds me actually of when my father used to shout at me. This really is triggering me. And own it. And communicate where you're at. And I found this really helps to soften the heart. To see beneath that anger. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling angry because beneath that I'm frightened. I'm frightened that you're going to hurt me, you're going to leave. This is what's beneath that anger. And usually, like I said in the energy psychology, there's pain within that. And if you can communicate that with your wife, then brilliant. So, that is 10 ways that a man can deal with his anger. And hopefully this works. And please comment below. There's obviously lots more ways. These are just 10 that I have found, that I've embodied and used in my lifetime. of which really 5.5 really work. So, many blessings. Please comment below. Take care.